Okay, we are on to the March daffodil, which the symbolism of these is actually rebirth and new beginnings, so that's pretty cool. Before we start on this, I want to show you just a few of our favorite pieces that you'll be able to paint yourself when purchasing the watercolor coloring book. If you have any questions along the way, or maybe you're proud of the work that you're doing, we would love to see your work. Tag us on Instagram at theartroom.co or leave a comment in the comments. We would love to see your feedback. So without further ado, okay, let's get started on the March daffodil. I'm super stoked for this one. I've painted it a lot of times. Turns out I have a lot of family members that are born in March. So here we go. Like you have seen if you watched the last two videos, the first thing I like to do is spray my paints down. I do this so that I don't have to sit there and scrub at the paints, and it'll keep my brush nicer, longer. So while that sits, I'm going to tape my paper. So if you have the watercolor coloring pages, your paper is an 8.5 by 11. The reason I did that is so that you would be able to tape your paper and still have an 8 by 10, so that if you wanted to frame it, you could. So on the vertical sides, you're gonna tape about 1/4 inch like so on both sides. And then go. On the bottom, you're gonna use, if you have the artist tape, you're gonna use the entire tape because the bottom and the top need to be 1/2 inch. So that's about 1/2 inch, and I'm gonna tape both of them, just lining them up with the top of the page, like that. Perfect. So now you have an 8 by 10 painting. Okay, so I have my 2 jars of water. One of them is for my warm colors and one is for the cold. I have my painter's palette, which is from Jen Craft. Super awesome. I have the materials list linked below. And I have a scratch paper for me to test my colors. And I need to get myself a paper towel. I like to fold my paper towel into 3, like a section of 3, just so that it's more thick. You don't always have to do that, but I just kind of tuck it underneath my palette. And then I have my medium round brush. I have a size 8, and then a filbert brush, and this is a large. So if you are a minimal artist like I am, I love simplicity. This is a little mini one that I did a few months ago. So I actually sell prints of this on my Etsy, but we're gonna make our own fun version of it here. So we're gonna use yellow, green, and then we're gonna pick a background color at the end when we figure out exactly what will look best. So let's get started. I love, when it comes to yellow, I don't know what the right term is, a rustic yellow. I just don't love the vibrant yellows. So we're gonna try to make that. I'm gonna mix it over here. But first, I'm gonna do a very diluted yellow for the petals. Similar to that. Maybe even lighter. Maybe I'll do it over here. Yeah. Okay. So I'll have that, and I definitely don't want it to be that light, so I'm gonna brush that off. So I have those, and then I still want it to be a little bit more like orange. So I'm going to add, there we go. If you add purple in, it just muddies it up. You can do that with greens as well. Adding some. Okay. We are ready to go. So, first things first, we're gonna do the petals. And I like to use the side of my brush. The only time I use the tip is when I'm doing detail. But to make your paint go further, you use the side. So, I'm gonna keep going. And just like the other flowers, if you miss them, that's totally fine. They're up. You can go look at our homepage. Plus, I think I'm gonna make a playlist too of the birth flowers. But you can leave white areas to show separation of petals and reflection. So right now, if you can see, I am pulling some of this color off. So I'm literally just grabbing my brush and brushing over the color and dabbing it onto my paper towel. And then I'm gonna come back and do these. I'm leaving that little bend white for now. And I'm gonna bring this color over to this. Sometimes I forget I need to talk louder. So hopefully you can hear me when I mumble every once in a while. Do you guys have like a month that all of your family is born on? Because for my family, March is that month. Like my dad and my sister and my brother-in-law all have birthdays in March. And my husband too. Can't forget him. And then for my husband's family, November and December, it's like the last week of November, has 2 people, and then 4 of the 6 kids and in-laws' birthdays are in November. I mean in December. So it's like 6 birthdays within a 2-month span. They actually sent out a text like last week about how that we need to use like birth control or contraception stuff so that there's no more birthdays in December. Okay. Super pretty. So everything is very like one-toned. And for this one, I'm gonna keep it that way. We'll do some more fun shading stuff in flowers to come, but for this one, I just am gonna keep it simple. And there is a lot of beauty in simple, so I'm not even gonna apologize for it. My sister is actually sitting on the couch, like 10 feet away from me, so she probably just thinks I'm talking to myself. I would love to know when your guys' birthdays are. Tell me in the comments. Are you gonna do that flower? I really like this color. Okay. So, got the petals done, and I'm gonna do the same color for this little bowl here. Just fill it in flat. And we'll add another yellow color to it, but for now it's just gonna be like this. And you see how it puddles? When that happens, you just dip your brush, make it dry, and then pull it back, put it on your paper towel. Perfect. There's some petals that are like underneath the other petals, so this one I'm gonna do like one more layer of dark once it's dry. If your petal is still drying, wait till it dries, then do this. I just want to make a few petals that are a different color than the rest. So I have this one. Same thing, see how it's puddling? I'm just grabbing it, taking it off. Perfect. Then this one here, I'm gonna add some more color to. And this. If you are wanting to learn more about how to make your flowers and greenery successful, I really highly recommend watching the free tutorial that we have. It's linked in this video. It talks about shading and lighting and wet on wet, wet on dry. She goes over like mountains and 2 different skies and how you apply those basic techniques, because I feel like we've all taken your generic basic training, but then you're like, okay, well, how do I apply this to my actual paintings? And that's what's cool about her training, is she teaches you that. Like, she does them and then you do a little activity together. So go check it out. Also, I'm sorry that my head keeps like popping in and out of the frame. I sometimes forget that the camera's right above me and I like to paint. It's actually funny, I've seen pictures of myself where I don't notice, but I'm like this close to the paper. Doing the details. And I don't notice until like someone points it out to me. So sorry about it. Okay, petals are done. Now we're gonna do the inside and I'm gonna make it darker. So I'm gonna use this yellow that we already have. If you ran out, that's okay. We're gonna make more anyways. But I want them to be more like a orange, a yellow orange. Feel me? After this, I gotta go on to Groove Shark and find some sounds, some like calming music to put behind me. So hopefully you guys like what I picked. I'm adding purple again. I'm all about those like browns. Yeah, look at that. Yep. So the way I made that is I used this yellow and a little bit of orange. This orange, not that orange. And purple. Cool. So now we're doing the middle. And I'm just going to, it has, so the drawing, as you can see, I have the little, still don't know what these are, but the seeds in the middle. Then I'm leaving white. So I'm just painting around them. Then bringing it out. Yep. Yep. Cool. I'm not doing this in here. Leaving those. Oh, paint it over it. See, that's alright though. Worst case scenario, you paint over it that you want white. You can just paint it white once it dries. Don't do it when it's wet. There. Those look so pretty already. Hopefully you like yours. Now I'm doing these. I feel like you guys are painting with me. Hopefully you are. Show me your painting if you are. Tag me, okay? theartroom.co. Tag me in Instagram. Or if the comments on YouTube let you show me in that too. Both. I'm putting more orange in this. Yeah, I am. Cool. Now I'm doing these little bits. And I'm still gonna do it dark, but I'm not gonna do it as dark as that. So I'm grabbing this and just adding a little bit of water to it to where it's more diluted. And there. And I'm leaving like little reflection spots. See that? And then I'm just grabbing like a little bit of orange and putting it here. Nice. These look so pretty. I think I told you this in one of the other videos. Or maybe one that you're gonna watch in the future. Because I'm doing these out of order. But my sister always makes fun of me every time she watches my tutorials. Not my sister Sadie that did these paintings with me, but my other sister. I have 3 sisters. And my oldest one always makes fun of me because I like hype myself up as I'm painting. I have to. I don't know how you can't. It's so boring if you just like sit there and not appreciate the work you're doing. So even if it's a small win, I'm celebrating with you. Okay. Love those. Now that we have the yellow, the flowers done, we can work on the petals. So I bet you can guess what I'm gonna say. I like diluted, not diluted, why can't I think of it now? It's like what I use all the time. Muddy colors. Sometimes I don't, but for greens, I do. I don't like vibrant greens. If you do, all power to you. Find a green you like. If you don't like a green that's on your palette, you can make your own. Grab a blue, grab a yellow, mix it together till you like it. A lot of time when you do that, it's still gonna be pretty vibrant. So, a solution to that like we did with the yellow, is adding purple. Or like a brick red or brownish color. Let's see. Yeah, that one's cute. Okay, I like that, but I'm also gonna get like a more blue-green. I am. But I'm still gonna make it muddy. Okay, I have those two that I like a lot. So, with watercolor, and I don't know if I already said this, if I'm repeating myself, good. You gotta embed this in your brain. You want to start with the lighter colors. If you start with dark and you end up not liking it, you can't really go back when you're doing watercolor. So we're gonna do the stem first with the lighter green that we have. And I'm gonna make sure this is still recording. Okay, good, we're still recording. Okay, so with stems, it takes some practice, but you can do thick stems if you add some pressure, or you can do really thin stems. It just takes some practice. And with leaves, with these particular leaves, you can do, and I'm just gonna do it with like a random green because I don't want to waste the green I just did. But the way you do it is you'll have light pressure and then you'll add pressure and then release. Look how pretty that is. You can practice that a few times on your scratch paper if you are worried about it. Do that a few times and then move over to your final painting. So, I'll wash that off and I'm gonna do my stems first. I hope you're loving this. And if you're not, that's okay. Because guess what? Majority, like not majority, but even artists that are like professional and paint every day don't love every single one of their paintings. It takes practice, but you can do it. Okay, so I'm dipping in this darker color in the areas that like would be shadowed. So I'm just like putting it at the tip of every stem and then like towards one side of the stem. And it's just, if it's wet, it's gonna bleed into the other color, which is totally fine. I don't love how diluted this color is, so I'm gonna make it a little darker for this. There we go. I'm gonna go over the stem again because I want it darker. See how nice that is? If you have it light, you can still go over it again. But if it's the other way around, no go. Okay, here we go with the leaf. We're going to do light pressure and then more and less, like that. Obviously that wasn't like perfectly in the lines, but that's how you would make them. And then I'm just gonna fill it in like so. And I'm gonna add a little bit of blue while it's still wet so that it just easily seeps in. See how easy it is blending when it's wet on wet? Okay. Now I'm doing this yellow, this green. Little pressure, more, and little. Same thing, green this darken. Awesome. I ran out of green faster than I thought I would. Okay, a little pressure, more, back. So I didn't have enough water, so you can see these little like white marks. If you like that, keep it. If you don't want that, add just a little bit more water and it won't do that. I'm gonna keep it. Add some texture, some character. Now, thick and then thin. Filling it in. So pretty. This makes me nervous to do the background because I like it so much now that I don't want to do the background. Are you a background person? We are going to do purple because yellow and purple are complementary colors. I'm gonna do kind of a pinkish purple. We're gonna try it out. First though, always try it out. Always, always. I already like it. I can see it in my head. Sadie's eating my chicken. She just eyeballed me. Hey, you can't start the microwave right now. You have to wait till I'm done with my background, okay? Yeah. We better hurry. She's gonna get hangry. Okay. Now, I want to make sure I like it with these colors. I do. I think it looks really pretty. So, I'm gonna add some more. Ooh, too much. I need it here. And drop lots more water. So this is where my big brush comes in. This big boy. I'm gonna grab lots more water so I can dilute it. And I want my pink. Okay. I think that's gonna look really pretty. And I have a lot. So the reason that I dilute it and have quite a bit here is because same thing. I want to make sure that there's no harsh lines that draw away from the focus of the painting. So what I'm gonna do that I have found to be the most successful for me is I wet the paper down before I paint. So I'm getting just plain white water and wetting this down. So you want to be careful not to get too much, barely going over your painting will be okay. But sometimes when you go over it, even a little bit, the color will bleed into your background, and you don't want it to do that. Sometimes you do, but I don't. So I'm gonna try and keep just a little bit of space in between the flower, and the background. Okay. Okay. You don't want the water to puddle, you just want to just spread it evenly across the paper. So if you see it puddling, just spread it around some more or lift it off your paper and put it on your paper towel. Sometimes it's hard to see where you've done it, so if you like look at it from an angle, like from here, you can see because it's shimmery wherever you've done it. Pretty. Okay. Here we go. I have the majority of my painting wet. Okay, now I'm coming in with my purple, dropping it in. And even if you get it wet beforehand, sometimes you don't even need this. Like you could just drop it straight from here and spread it around. Okay. All right. So this one I like so much that I'm not even gonna do the lines. I'm gonna leave it simple, pretty, and yeah, if you wanna add lines, again, remember, wait till it dries completely. I have pens that I recommend that are on the material list, and you want to go not as fast, but you don't want to lift your pen up. You want to go as far as you can without lifting. So if that means going back or doing a loop or moving things around, do that because it just adds more character to your drawings. Okay, best part ever is taking the tape off. And I need these tapes to stay intact for my next one, so I'm going to be putting them like this. I don't know if you can see them on the screen, but I need them for my next painting. Okay, again, when you pull your tape off, try pulling it horizontally because if you pull it up like this, you have a higher chance of ripping your paper. And that is no fun. After you worked so hard, see, even when you do this, it still rips every once in a while. So you just need to be really careful. And here we go. Awesome. Okay. Here is your March flower. Your daffodil looks so beautiful. Share in the comments your successes. I really want to hear how it went. Tag us on Instagram at theartroom.co, and we will see you tomorrow for the April birth flower.